So, hello. This is session 1 of 2 for the Gauntlet Hangouts, which is part of the Gauntlet podcast. And we are doing first session of a cyberpunk game called The Veil, PbtA game written by Fraser Simons, one of the members of the Gauntlet. It's a very cool book and very sharp. It's actually it's the year of cyberpunk for me because I said just last year that I did not want to run Cyberpunk and I hated it. And my mind has been changed by all the cool stuff that has come out. And I've run Shadowrun Anarchy and Kuro and now The Veil. So I think it's pretty cool. And I'm excited to be proven wrong on my things. So what we're doing tonight is we're going to be doing character creation, going through the playbook process, which is making some picks and making some choices about obligations. And we've got a basic frame of the world that I'm going to talk a little bit about. The players are going to add on to that, and then we'll see where everyone is. Because this is part of the Gauntlet Hangouts, we are using X card. If we hit problematic content or things that people aren't cool with, tone-wise even, then we can X, or somebody can send me a chat note on that. And these are 3 rock star players, so I have no worries about that. And we will get to that. So the states you asked about. This is a very interesting thing with the Veil. So I'm going to talk about the character mechanic. Rather than having conventional stats, when you go to do something, you're going to say essentially what's your dominant emotion at that moment. And that is what you roll with. And we've got a wheel up in roll 20. You can see there that has a set of the different terms and so on. You'll notice below each of those stats that there's some check boxes. Those are 5 check boxes below each stat. Whenever you make a roll on one of those states, and I'm going to say states and stats interchangeably here, I mean the same thing, then you make a mark on that checkbox. If you get to 5 checkboxes on a state, you kind of go into a focus on that, and there's a move called Alleviate, which triggers at that point, which means that you're focused on that state, you'll get a bonus to it, but you'll get penalties to any of the other states. And there's a way to move out of that you have to go through. But that's one of the interesting things about the sort of the emotional construct that this game uses. I'm very much picturing them like approaches, but with an emotional aspect to them is how I'm doing that. Let me talk a tiny bit about the setting that I've got the framework for that we're playing in, because this is a 2-shot. I've done some world building. It's based on something I've run before. This is Neo Kyoto. It is a metroplex that has dozens of cities and wards to it, different environments. It's very much a kind of a more of an anime future world, but with all kinds of multicultural stuff, but with a sort of a Japanese layer, Japanese frame on top of it. On the little Veil background sheet, I've got a list of some of the factions. It is covered by the Veil in places. Veil it means the augmented reality that hides things. The authorities, the shogunate, use that to kind of keep some things hidden from people. And there's a lot of open stuff there. I've said some stuff about how there are some nano creatures, the nano kami and other things that are in the world. Those are the kinds of sort of slightly odd details, but we have plenty of room to do some building on that. Sherry, Rich, Chris, do you have any questions about that setting that I should answer here before we roll forward? Nope. Okay. So, Sherry, you've had a chance to look at the attached, right? And you've got 1 or 2 base moves.
Okay. I have one that you get for sure, and that's I will be done, or you get 2 base moves, right? Or are you saying something else? I get moves for attached, right?
Yeah, you get the object, the revision, the lest we be parted.
Okay.
And then you get a base move, which is I will be done, and then you get to pick one of those 5 moves.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of picks going on here.
I know. It will be
we won't necessarily fill in everything right away. Rich, do you have any question about your playbook?
No, I just need to review because I got a chance to play this in December, and I was, but I wonder if things got changed. So that's what I'm trying to make sure I didn't screw up.
Okay.
Versioning control. That's what I need to go through.
Well, you've got some interesting selections to make there from your sheet, from your Giri, some choices that shape stuff. And then you start with the honor and the bound, and then you choose one more move from that set of things. And then let me look at the empath here. Chris, do you have any questions about the picks you have to do there?
My first question is about the character sheet in Roll20. So we're supposed to put the stat next to the equal sign for the stats. So mad equals 1 if we're choosing 1. Is that correct?
Yes, okay. Absolutely.
Because there's so many fields in this one.
Mm-hmm.
I know. And it has a functionality, but it does take a bit to kind of get to what's going on with it.
What's an esoteric look?
I don't know.
So you're going to make me define that if I choose it.
Yes, if you show yourself as esoteric.
It means more like an idea than a person. Yeah.
Oh. That could work.
How's that?
More like an idea than a person. Yeah, I think that might take me in directions I don't really want to go.
Okay.
I'm happiness. Yes. No, I don't think I really want to do that today. Yes.
Let's see. I put that there. That's there. Okay. So what I'll do once everybody's kind of gotten their states and the choices that they have to make on their moves, because there are a bunch of picks there. Once everybody's set with that, then we'll talk about beliefs and the Giri questions, because those are kind of open, important questions about your character's identity. So I'm going to sit here pleasantly. If anyone has questions or you get done or anything, go ahead and say. Otherwise, I will allow silence to fall.
So the jam is our job. How we get creds.
Yeah, to define what you do for a living.
Oh, I should probably say, just so no one else races to choose the same thing. My girl she is like a porn vid star.
Oh.
Not star, but personality.
Oh man,
I know we were all going to be porn.
Well, I was thinking of being a sex worker.
Yeah.
So that might take us all in a different direction if we all chose things along those lines. I don't know. How would the honor bound fit into that, though? I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Because you owe someone.
Bodyguard watches over.
Yeah.
You're our pimp? Is that what you're saying?
No, I work for the Oyabun, who is the pimp.
Okay. Now, okay. Let's see. How would the empath make money? Okay. And is what we are relatively unique, or are there a lot of us?
I'm going to assume that you can define that.
Okay.
In fact, I think that's probably the best way to do it.
Because for instance, I was saying, since I'm an empath, I was going to say that to take advantage of that, I'm going to be an advertising focus group designer, so that I work with advertising and I can sense the emotions of people as they react to the product or whatnot, in order to slant the product to better sales.
That's very cool.
Have any of you ever actually worked in advertising?
No.
I worked in a catalog.
I worked in marketing sales, but that was the other end.
I worked in a catalog company at one point, and the creative types were very intense.
They had strong opinions?
And strong emotions.
Really?
Yeah.
Yes.
Where are we putting beliefs?
Yeah, that's
a good question. Let me look at the character sheet.
Oh, I guess we click on the plus button, and then a box appears with a name.
Gotcha. Yeah.
I didn't figure that out either right away.
No, you just now figured it out. Good job.
Wait, where is it? Say it again. Oh.
On the info tab.
Oh, I see it now. And do we have to make them up, or is there some handy list of beliefs?
You've got to make them up.
Oh,
Gotta make them up. They don't actually have
That could be the hardest thing.
Well, and what kind of beliefs are they? As in, what is a belief? Is it...
So let me give you some of the examples that are from the book. And this is actually something that might be worth asking Fraser to maybe do some examples of in the future. Let me find that page, though. I think it's 361. There's the MC section. Sorry, I should have bookmarked this. And beliefs are important because when you challenge those, that's one of the ways that you get XP. So he gives examples here. He gives 3 examples in the book, and one is that the veil is neither good nor bad, but only a tool. And he gives that as sort of a philosophical outlook on something that's in the world. He gives another one. Another thing helpful thing to do is to base it on another protagonist that you interact with a lot. And he says, Kiva is too mysterious, and all mysteries are there waiting to be unraveled. So that's a way of having one that interacts with another player. And it can be concrete. The other concrete example he gives is, I will earn Kiva's trust in order to gain entry to their sanctuary. So you want something from another player. You believe you're going to try and do that for a purpose. Now, those we can define. We probably at least define 1 or 2 beforehand, but other ones we can define in play. Seems to me that that's probably the easiest way to do that.
So I think it would be smart if I have a conversation with the two of you about some of your ideas before I choose the Giri, because I'm the enforcer for the institute or organization that upholds the Giri. So that means I could very well be the enforcer for wherever one or both of you work, although it doesn't seem like the two of you work at the same place.
Unless I do PR focus groups for porn.
It's a living. I really thought of her at first as being sort of more of an independent operator, like YouTube people are now, where essentially you just try to accumulate views and you get paid based on the views and sponsorships and things like that. So
okay. Lone Wolf. That's
that wasn't the
fine.
right thing. That's the thing, is her personality isn't lone wolf.
Okay. So she's not an orphan.
Her jam is, yes. No, she's not an orphan.
All right, just checking in.
Because you know how I'm like that.
And how do we mark our moves when they have choices? Do we just delete the ones that don't apply so that it's clear?
Yeah, I would just I put all the text in so that you could cut down to what you wanted. In some cases, there was a lot of text, and I didn't put all of it in.
Okay.
In some cases, I forgot to erase the hard returns from the PDF.
Now, so the place that Tal works for could be the only authority for people wanting to resolve Giri, a safe place where people can find sanctuary, the veil cannot penetrate there, or prosperous marketplace, largely self-governing, has grown up around it. Could you be attached to that third option? That could be.
That would be awesome.
Both of you could be attached.
Because you're both going to be buying stuff. Yeah.
All right. Cool.
So the idea that the people that have managed to gain an independent sort of lifestyle, they are essentially freelancers, need to operate within the system of Giri, and your organization governs that. Is that what I'm hearing?
It's choices. I choose one of them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I was reading out three. I was thinking of going with a prosperous marketplace, largely self-governing, because then it could possibly tie to the market stuff that they're involved in.
Okay.
Giri question.
Yeah, you can hold off on the Giri questions until we get everybody introduced.
Choose one more. I'm going to take the flow variation where I can interact with residual emotions around me. When I open myself to the flow, they become tangible and visible. You get the search feelings move. Because that seems to apply to my profession, and that I think means that I got to choose another move. if I'm not mistaken. Oh, for some reason I can't label this additional move.
So say that again to me.
So in the character sheet, under moves, so I have by default absorb, which all empaths get, and then I added a move, but I can't seem to name it. I can't seem to change the name of the move. So I'm just going to put it in the text field.
Okay. Let me make sure I've got it set that you can edit it. Hang on a sec. Yep, you can edit it. I don't know.
Doesn't seem to. I can't select it. It's fine. It's not a big deal. I just put it in all caps at the beginning of it. What the move is.
Yeah, that's weird.
Did you actually make these character sheets?
No, one of the people in the Veil community on G+ made them.
Wow. Impressive.
I don't know if you've seen the one that they did for the Sprawl. It's kind of amazing as well.
No, I haven't. I'm glad they did, though. It makes life a lot easier.
Yeah.
Okay, on the honor-bound character sheet, under the 3 to 5 features of the surroundings and atmosphere, is there a difference between real vegetation where neither R nor V are capitalized and real vegetation where the R in real is capitalized?
No.
Okay.
That's a typo on the character sheet, which has translated into me cutting and pasting it into that box.
Actually, no, you just said it's a big list.
Oh, yes. Okay, yeah.
Look at the playbook.
I don't think there's a difference between the real vegetation and the real vegetation.
Okay, just wanted to check because I wondered if the capital R meant something.
This means something. Archive that. And then. Sherry, do you have any questions?
Why can't I type faster?
Fair enough. You type faster than me, which is also a fairly low bar for people.
Holy crap, there's so much stuff.
I'm looking, and everybody has different gear choices, I assume?
Yes. Now, the ones that are choices that you don't necessarily have to come up with now, but we'll want to think about are these cybernetics.
You can have a damaging eye. Is that damaging others or damaging yourself?
I hope that, well, let's see, is that a negative tag or a positive tag?
Oh, they're negative tags, you're right. Ooh.
Yep, so that would be a negative tag. So if you had an eye that did something cool, like it was encrypted, but it hurt you.
Got it. And so for each of the cybernetics, depending on the number of tags, you have to choose negative tags for them, correct?
Essentially, yeah. For each piece of cyberware you have has one negative tag, and then the different objects can have a certain number of positive tags. If you want to find Examples of those, it's on the basic reference sheets.
Oh, jeez. This is annoying as hell. It's like making 40 choices within one text box that you can only see 4 lines of. I want to punch things.
You know you can make that text box bigger.
Oh, God, thank you.
Really?
The corner, you can drag the corner and make it bigger.
It's like magic.
Yeah. Oh, that's fantastic. Yes.
Sorry.
I hate things less.
Yeah. So whoever designed this really did think things through. That's nice.
Now, it will reset when you close and open it again. It will reset to original size, so just be aware of that.
That's probably a limitation of Roll20.
Yep. Does that help, Rich?
Yeah, it's still obscene how many choices there need to be made. Like, it's kind of dumb. It's too open. It needs to have an opinion. I'll hush.
I think we should look at it as you make the ones that you're certain about, and then we'll go around and converse about, well, we're supposed to think about this. So, and we'll kind of go back and forth on that and talk, maybe, just to sort of use those things to kind of mesh ourselves a little, if we want.
I also think it might be sort of a symptom of cyber games.
Yeah. You got to have the crunch in one way or another.
You can have to have the cybernetics, unless it's a character that's specifically not like against cybernetics or whatnot. So
right.
So because I wasn't even planning on particularly having one, but okay.
Yeah.
Because do you have to have one, or can I start off without one?
You can say I don't have any cybernetics.
Ooh, except you can have an interface. Ooh, that could be fun.
Mm-hmm.
I'll do that.
Okay.
That's an easy one. Of course, I don't really know what that means, but
well,
but I'm sure Lowell can have a lot of fun with it.
Right. And you can figure out what it does, because it can have up to 2 sort of positive tags to it.
1 negative. Okay. Yeah.
And by tags, we mean a thing it can do.
I am confused about incurring Giri. So, choose 3 to 5 circumstances that generate Giri in society and the penalties for breaking them. Under incurring Giri, some of them are good things. Some of them are not good things. Like, if they protect you from harm, that incurs Giri and should be punished?
That generates Giri. So what it is
but
each
then
of these things
within the same list, there's if you make a mistake that harms another. So how can it be?
And that would, if you made a mistake that harmed another, you would then have Giri that you would have to give Giri to someone else to make up for that. It can go in a couple different directions. Basically, when any of the circumstances occur, Giri is generated for one party or the other. A debt is incurred.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
It makes a little sense. Okay.
So if someone protects you from harm, that's the first pick. It means, if they act as bodyguard for you, then you owe them. Okay? So they would have a Giri on you. But let's say that the same person made a mistake that hurt you, you would get a Giri on them, because essentially they owe you a debt then, if you picked those as the circumstances that generate them.
Do we see this as being an action-oriented game that we'll be playing for these 2 sessions? Do we think that it will be more political, more reflective? Because the choice of Giri is pretty important towards those goals, I think.
Well, we have weapons choices. I don't know about you all, but I have a primary and a secondary weapon.
It's a role-playing game. Come on.
Of course, they have weapons choice. It's really up to you guys what tone you want to have. You know, it's not Shadowrun action packed. Would be my preference. But if you want to have more violent action, we can certainly lean into that.
And what can we use Giri for?
So Giri is like Det in Urban Shadows.
Or strings in Monster Hearts?
Yes.
Okay.
And there's some moves for that. You can ask someone to do something. You can try to get out of it. You can use it as leverage. It's very much those mechanics imposed there. But one of the things that happens is Rich's character is actually defining the circumstances that we will generate Giri during play.
The Giri questions, right? Or are we talking something else?
So here's what it is Rich's character is based on Giri, on the idea of debt. And
okay.
so one of the things that he's doing is defining how people in play generate Giri.
Got it.
We'll have some Giri questions that we'll answer that are sort of outside that loop, but he's doing some world building through his choices.
Got it.
So because we have a marketer and basically a YouTuber, I'm thinking I need to choose 3 to 5. A couple of them I could is when you give someone a possession with no credit exchanged, and when a mutual agreement is broken. That way I can be pursuing things that would probably touch on the interests of the two others.
Those are good.
I wholeheartedly endorse those choices.
Ooh, are you going to be a porn star political candidate?
Ooh. Huh.
He's not Italian.
Oh, true though.
Yeah. Well, then you can nicely complement that, Rich, with some stuff that plays more into your leanings.
Yep.
I think I've done everything but the Giri now.
Oh, excellent.
Because I don't have any world building stuff, so.
Well, let me ask you this: as you're picturing the empath, is it a common thing? Is it a rare thing? Are you unique? What's the reaction to people who have your abilities?
I want to say it's not unique, but not common.
Okay.
I think it's probably a limited number of people have the potential, and I haven't quite worked out how Lyric became an empath. But I want to say that it wasn't an immediate thing, and it wasn't like something that just happened when he became a teenager. Something triggered it.
Was there a trigger, or was there a process that you had to go through?
Maybe, because I was tempted to take because there's the burden, right? So the empath has this flow of emotions from other people, and that gives the empath actually certain abilities from that by absorbing that. And what you have to define the burden of the flow for you. And I was tempted to take revenge, because I thought that could be something that could drive the game, so that could be good. But then I thought I'd take to help others when I can to the betterment of humanity, which is sort of touchy-feely, goodies two-shoes. I don't know. Maybe I should. It depends whatever the feel I guess we want of the game, where we want to go. Because if I do revenge, then that's going to sort of drive us, I guess, in one direction, unless they make it an abstract revenge.
It's up to you.
But I think that might spotlight too much on Lyric, especially for a short campaign. So I think I'll stick with the help others.
Okay.
That was my reasoning anyway.
Let me ask you this then. Do you imagine that empaths are regarded as, special snowflakes, or as, a weird thing that occurs, or something that people fear? I mean, are empaths always positive, or are they negative? I mean, what do you expect the general take might be in a very class-based society?
In a very class-based society, I think they're looked on as a useful tool.
Okay.
And so they're looked at as assets that the powerful will want to possess. I would probably, I don't remember the basis for this. Like in Fate, the player characters are meant to be very competent or hyper competent.
Mm-hmm.
Are we meant to be hyper competent here, or just competent, or average Joe that just gets mixed up in something?
I plan on being
You're unique,
competent,
and cool. But of course, you're still at the whim of PbtA dice.
Okay.
But generally, if you go to do something, there's a lot of stuff that we will say, yeah, you're a badass, you can do that.
Okay, then I would say that in general they're viewed as assets and not feared much, because the majority of them won't have the abilities that my character would have.
Okay.
So there wouldn't be that much manipulation for the others, but my character actually can do more than just feel emotions, can actually, because I took the move, not only search feelings, but also sling feelings.
Ooh. Let me ask you this then. Do you imagine that that's something your employers know, your friends know, you keep secret? What's your thought on that?
I want to say that my employers don't know that I can sling feelings. They know I can search feelings, because that's part of why they wanted to hire me, so that I could monitor people's reactions to product. But I don't think they know that I could project it, because they would really want me to be projecting positive feelings for their marketing.
Sounds good.
And I don't really want to go down that path. I'm not that jaded yet.
Not that jaded yet. Okay. Rich, where are you at?
Jacksonville. Jacksonville.
Thank you, Rich. Thanks, Dad.
Rich, were you one of the kids when your parents asked you, Rich, what do you want for dinner? You'd say, food.
Yep, I've lived and died by dad jokes. I'm just glad to be a dad now, so that I can actually get away with them. I just finished up Giri, trying to not go hyper combat, so I will drop this into the little chat area inside of our video, so you can take a look at it.
Ooh, I should be looking for a pic for an image. That's sort of downside of the probably the biggest downside for me is the lower third being missing. I can live without the dice roller, but with Google not being able to project the little character image, which surprises me, because I would think they would still want that for like the commercial world, because you could put logos there, you could put, I don't know, lots of things there. But okay, Google, you didn't listen to me.
We were not profitable for them.
We'll show them, won't we?
Okay, and then the penalties.
Penalties? What?
Punitive violence.
I like the way Lowell just sort of whispers keywords to get our attention.
Penance involving sacrifice.
He's reading anything I put up there.
Yes.
Oh, is that what it is? Okay.
Yes. Not quite as sinister as it is. Of course, I get two chat things, so I'm like, okay, which one?
I did say it was in the video one. Come on.
Yep. That would require me to have listened and heard. Ugh, terrible person.
Oh, maybe this one will work, actually.
So which move, or you're still working through gear and other things, right, Rich?
Uh-huh. Which move, what?
Oh, I was going to ask you, what was the additional move that you've taken?
The Art of the Pursuit is what I was thinking about, but that was from the vestigial character, so I don't even know if that still exists. Yes, it does.
Yes, it does.
Yep, that's what I'll take.
Okay. Sherry, where are you at?
in the depths of despair because I am staring down at those beliefs going, no, I don't know.
Well, I haven't even tried the beliefs because I thought we were
Yeah.
going to wait for something to like come up and then we could.
Yeah, how about we
develop and
do
play.
introductions
Yeah.
and then do those Giri questions that are on our sheets? Do attachments, and if we need to work with, establishing some NPCs through that. And then we can look at beliefs. How does that sound?
I was just thinking I made a good choice playing the empath because I think I sort of bleed that way anyway. I was thinking, yeah, it'll be great. I'll hear what the others say, and then I'll sort of work with that, react to it.
So that I don't have to make a choice.
Springboard. I was going to springboard.
Springboard. All right. So, Sherry, let's have you go ahead and describe and introduce your character, and then we'll go around and have the others do that, and then we'll look at some Giri questions here. So, tell us about your character, the attached.
Okay, her name is Costa Yushisano, and she's a lovely thing. Of course, she is, because even if she weren't, she would be all corrected up and everything anyway. But she is actually a lovely girl. One of the things that they say with the attached is that the future is a very lonely place. I think she actually comes from a family or a community that does this sort of porn, this intimacy porn. It's essentially, so she's been raised to do that, but there's a certain point at which they cast you out to do it on your own and, essentially develop your persona, if that makes any sense. So she's in that stage right now. And does that fit okay? There would be a need for that.
Can I ask you a question? Because I think I hear you leaning into something. I just want to make sure that I'm on the same page with you. So what you're saying when you say intimacy porn is less sexual and more about human contact and interaction with the sexual overtones?
Right. Well, and I wouldn't say that it was less sexual. It's just that instead of it being a display porn, it's intimacy porn. She's always turned towards the actor, so to speak, not because, of course, the viewer in these is the actor. The camera is actually taking their, is essentially their eyes and takes their place. And I mean, I assume that there's sensory and all of that stuff. So it is very much that she's engaged with that, and it's not just a set of acts that are being done to her, but that but that she's engaged with that actor.
So there's a little echo of the geisha tradition in this.
Yes, you could say that.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. I just want to get that through my head. Go ahead and go on.
That it's not just sexual, but it's also company and intimacy and, I mean, even friendship or what all.
So you mentioned YouTube. I'm sorry, but I'm curious. You mentioned YouTube. Is all this intimacy, is it all virtual?
Well, yes, that's it. It's entirely virtual. Look at it as, how they already have VR where, they've got the multiple senses. Eventually that'll be more holistic. So I'm looking at that, right?
Okay, cool. Okay. That's what I thought. I just wanted to check in.
So no.
So you get projected into the personal veil that someone has around them.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. And that's what, I mean, she's trained on that. So, but when she struck out independently, what she did is she brought with her a set of the standard AIs that she got from her family for doing the, camera rig or whatever. But along the way, she found another AI, and she sort of combined it with what she had. And it's what makes her presence on the keep saying YouTube, but on whatever networking thing, and essentially this model different because the way that that the two of them are working with each other to essentially establish lots of little niche markets for her instead of like a big personality that lots of people know about. It's that lots of people know about her, but they don't know that other people know about her. So her whole thing is that she's sort of everyone's secret.
Nice. Is there anything else you want to give us before we move on?
Let's see here. It's a camera rig, but it's a VR one. So one of the things that it does is, of course, there's like a whole bunch of little drones that are catching from all different angles, but it also creates I'm thinking like a field of sorts that is usually person-shaped that she turns around and speaks to, and that can have a very limited physical sort of manifestation. It does for her because she has the dermal link to it, but it can, push the air around or, essentially give a sort of slight structural.
So I understand that you have the dermal link and you'll have a pretty good vision of it and connection to it. What do other people see?
That's a good question. I assume that if they were accustomed to looking, like they could see it because it is sort of physically at least affecting the world somewhat. So it does distort around that. But I don't know that they would see the person that she sees, or if that makes any sense. They wouldn't see it as a person. They would see it as a distortion.
All right, that makes sense to me. What did you take for the sort of other picks there, the revision and the lest?
Okay, so I was supposed to choose 5 tags. Yeah, lest we departed. So I was supposed to choose 5 tags. So I chose compensating, recording, intercepting, storage, and dermalinked. It's essentially all about editing and stuff. And compensating means, fixing the light, changing the angles, making it look good, taking people out of the frame who they don't have an agreement with, all of that stuff. So that's editing, is compensating.
Okay.
And then the move that I took was together we feel powerful. When I roll a 12 plus in any state other than powerful, I can substitute an emotion spike in that state for one in powerful instead, if I can justify it in the fiction. So if this spikes out my powerful state, erase your spikes and give your object a +1 hunger instead of triggering the alleviate move.
Okay.
So, because mind you, the rig is sentient. Okay.
Okay.
And let's see here. So that's what I picked there. And then lest we be parted, irresolute. I get distracted. I'm not sure how to make decisions and stuff. I've become so accustomed to conferring with my rig, who's named Trapani Jig.
I'm sorry, what?
Trapani Jig.
Trapani Jig.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Isn't that how you say? Is it Trapani? Is that how you say the thing where they bore the holes in the skull to relieve the pressure?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, Trapani Jig. It's
Good.
the name he chose himself.
Okay.
So.
What did you take as your one more move?
I took merge.
Okay.
And that's really more about when we act in concert as opposed to merging physically.
Okay. Very cool.
Is it? I don't know. Is it?
We're going to find out. I think there's lots of potential there. Or horror. No, I think more potential than horror. So, Rich, can you tell us about Teo Utamaki?
Sure. Tao Utamaki is honorbound. They are androgynous, often dress in professional clothing, suits, and the like. They have a very expressive face, watchful eyes, and a wiry body. They enforce Giri for, we'll call it the Electric Pagoda. If someone comes up with a better name, that's perfectly fine with me. The Pagoda has a large nightclub. In that is, of course, music, holoscreens, and it's known for personal liberty and an impression of peace, which Tao helps to enforce. It also has in an area that's away from the marketplace that surrounds it, a tranquil dojo. The Giri that Tao enforces are about incurring Giri through offering comfort, offending people's honor, making mistakes that hurt others, and when you give possessions with no cred exchanged, or when a mutual agreement is broken. So generally around exchange and a little honor exchange, and when you do things that would hurt other people's earning potential. The ways in which Tao enforces Giri is through punitive violence and forcing the offender to conduct acts of penance that involve sacrifice. So I would imagine you could effectively pay credits up to a point, but I would imagine that Tao would continue raising that and make it on a scale that changes based on how rich the person who calls the offense is within limits of pushing their honor. If that makes any sense. Like if you think, oh well, I'll just pay you off and be a complete ass, then all of a sudden the price goes up. Just turns out that you need to pay more. And why does Tao enforce? Why is Tao honor bound? Is because the owner of the Electric Pagoda rectified a situation where their family and loved ones were wronged and in grave danger.
What's the owner's name? I do have a couple of name lists in the handout.
This is awesome. Why don't you do that?
Okay. Well, I will grab one. Male or female?
I have not decided.
Okay. Then I'll let you decide later. And it is someone called Neon Yamada.
I like it. And I've got their name, because name lists are all I need to be less dumb.
All right. What was the situation there? You mentioned there that you were wronged or your family loved one. Which was it? Was it a personal thing, or you mentioned your family?
Family. I definitely think it's family. I think that Tao is the kind of person who could have at a younger age could have let this slide, but their family was dishonored, in a great deal of financial trouble, and continually being pressured. So I think perhaps it is a debt of an actual financial debt was incurred upon the family. They were forced into effective vassalage / slavery, and the Neon Yamada came in, paid for it with no expectation of getting anything back, as far as Tao knows. And Tao, in feeling like, oh well, this has to be repaid, I will serve him.
So Are you still in contact with your family? Is that still an important part of your life, or you cut yourself off, or is it something?
There's a good deal of shame. I don't think that Tal's family wanted that choice, so Tal keeps tabs on them, and they often have very unemotional but relatively frequent text-only conversations. Imagine letters from home, letters to home.
If there's one person that is sort of your lifeline to the family, the person that you're interacting with, is it a sibling? Is it a mother, a father, a family friend, aunt? Okay. That provide the right level of distance?
Yes.
Okay. What did you choose for your gear?
So Tal has for gear an ancient katana, which is a masterwork. It is actually the katana of Yamada's family that Tal carries with honor. And a flechette SMG, because those are just cool.
Better
I would
safe
not admit that, but it's mostly because they're kind of cool.
Okay.
I want one now too.
Right?
Why don't you tell me, in the thing it has that the many people have come here over time thing for NPCs, you know, let's put a name and a face to one of those. So
I've got all three actually.
You've got all three. Oh, okay. Well, let's hear.
That was the easiest of the whole choices for some reason. I don't know.
Make it easy.
I have my barkeep block.
Barkeep.
I've got it put in chat. Block is the barkeep at the club. Tal likes block. Block is fun. Epoch is Tal's lover, and Switch is Tal's healer. I have not chosen any cybernetics, and I think Tal is strongly considering it, but just hasn't pulled the trigger on cybernetics.
Is that a big thing? I mean, how cybered up are other people in the Electric Pagoda's employ?
I think they're pretty cybered up.
Okay. So they look at you as a big meat sack?
Yeah, I think it puts Tao at a disadvantage.
Okay.
If there are bouncers who could, if they're on equal footing, they would probably pound the pavement with Tao, like curb stomp Tao. Yeah.
Who is the one that would be that curb stomper, that person that might actually get into it with you?
Curzon.
Curzon?
Yeah.
And who are they?
I cut off his arm. So he has a big ass cybernetic arm now. It's like obscene. It's one of those where they had to pull out his whole collarbone and then build like a support along his side and actually replace his hip just so the things he can do with his left arm don't throw him off balance all the time.
Okay.
It looks stupid, but kind of scary.
Is he a bouncer Pagoda, or does he have a parallel role to you?
Oh, he's a bouncer. He's way not smart enough to really have a parallel role to me, or so I tell him. Indirectly.
And one last question: why did you cut his arm off?
Well, he offended my honor, and so he did not want to repay. I offered him a price, a penance that was pretty sacrificial, and he refused, so I fought him, and I used my sword.
And Yamada would have, given that you were carrying out the duties, would have approved, and the matter would have been settled with the.
Oh yes, yes. I would not have done that. Like that was not a. Oh, you hurt my feelings. I'm going to chop off your arm. It was a. Oh, I need to talk to the Yamada. Okay, here's what I can offer you. Okay, you won't do it. I'm going to go back to the Neon Yamato. All right, good. Okay, now I chop off your arm.
Awesome. Anything else you want to add before I move on?
Do you want to have any questions? Is it relatively clear with Tao? Tao clear enough?
Actually, I have a question.
Yes.
I have a question. If you were a part of the electric pagoda, or you go there or whatever, let's see here. Is there any sort of customs sort of situation where, like, when you go there, they ask you a preliminary set of questions, like, are you carrying anything illegal, that sort of thing? I see that.
Sure, that sounds fun. Why not?
Okay. All right. Awesome. That's good to know. Then I think I know what my Giri is going to be with Tao. So.
Okay.
Fun.
I like the rituals there. Nice. All right. So, Lyric, let's hear about our empath.
You're muted.
Too many screens is what he's saying, even though we can't hear him.
I found you. It's literally, they all say the same thing in the bottom. So, wait, which one is it? So Lyric is an empath. And because of that, he got his job in PR because they want him to tap into people's emotions and give them better ideas of what's working and what's not so that they can tweak the stuff that they're trying to sell or trying to stream. Lyric has, as his cybernetics, he has the, what's it called? The jack is what I was going to say, but that's not what it's called. The
Interface?
The Neuralink, the interface.
Interface, yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
So he chose that because I figured that would be reasonable for his work. He took it with the tags of Dermalink, and again, now I have to find the character sheet wherever it went. So many windows. I'm gonna have to close some of these. There it is. It should be here. Because you're gonna want to know what they were. Dermalink and come on. Let's go. Responsive, so that it's intuitive when he uses it. As far as gear, since we were talking about the cybernetics, he took a particle blade. I'm not quite sure what that would look like, but I'm assuming it's concealable and you activate it.
Okay. Well, well, let me ask you this: Picard blade. I don't know what that looks like. So tell me what that looks like.
I'm going to assume it's actually thin and it has some sort of nanotech on the edges of it that makes it very sharp. The nanites can just cut through anything.
Okay.
Which is why it's 3-harm hand messy. And the other weapon is the Dermalinked Neuronet Palm Disruptor, which is stun only. Hand, it reloads, which is interesting. I didn't notice that before. I'm trying to picture out what that looks like and what it sounds like when you reload it. And disrupting. Yeah, exactly. It's going to have to make that shotgun sound.
Yes. Yeah.
Exactly.
Some games you get a bonus when you do that.
There you go. And let's see, looks. Physically masculine, trendy wear, strange face, dancing eyes, and by dancing I mean it tends to be looking at everything actively and optimistically, unless he's absorbed sad emotions. A wiry body because he tends to be wired, and Middle Eastern looks. So olive skin is what I was sort of going for, dark hair. Although I actually think I didn't pick that image, but that's okay. That's what I was shooting for. I want to say that what's confusing sort of may potentially with his personality as compared to his looks is that depending on what's around him, his personality and how he presents probably modifies to reflect the people. So if he's around a lot of buff dudes in a bar, then he's probably going to start acting more aggressive and more like them because he's picking up on those emotions. And if he's in something more emotional, then he'll probably be acting more emotional and soft.
Okay.
As I said, I didn't define where he got his powers. I still haven't. I still haven't thought of what that would be. But I want to say that it came later, and that it was probably the result of something that the company did to him.
Okay. But you said you had the potential. That potential was spotted, and then they did something to augment it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Let's see. I think we already talked about the moves. Do we want to just mention the Giris? Because they're assigned, right? Each of us has our Giri questions already.
Well, let me now on that cyberware. What was the negative tag you took on that?
Addictive.
Addictive. Oh, good.
Yeah, I thought that you'd like that.
That makes me super happy. What are the picks that you did for the flow?
For the flow, I chose. Is it just one? I thought it was one.
Yeah.
I can interact with residual emotions around me when I open myself to the flow. They become tangible and visible. You get the search feelings move.
Okay, good. Extra moves, always good.
Yeah.
And under the burden.
The burden, I chose to help others when I can, to the betterment of humanity.
Okay. And you took absorb and sling and search feelings. Then those are the three you have there. Mm-hmm. So a freelance person we've established, but some connections to some corporate entities. All right. You mentioned the Giri questions. Since you said that, let's start with your Giri questions. Since we have you, we'll work our way back here. So we'll do this like classic PbtA. You put a question out there. You'll suggest an answer. Someone will take it. We can also come up with an NPC if you think that fits better.
Oh, okay. So the idea is this just applies to this. We replace someone with a particular person. Okay. So if someone caught you manipulating someone else's emotions unbeknownst to them and didn't tell anyone else, they have one Giri on you. Does that appeal to anybody? So it doesn't mean I have to have manipulated your emotions, but you caught me manipulating. And remember, I didn't let people know I could manipulate emotions. So that's why that would be a pretty strong Giri on me.
Okay.
Okay. So I'm trying to think. My girl is pretty emotionally tuned as well.
So do you want to take that as?
Yeah, I think that seems reasonable.
Okay. So you would put that as on your sheet under
the Giri.
Under the Giri. And you'd write that in there.
Okay.
Cherry, what was your character's name again?
I think Costa is the easiest way to put it.
Casca?
Costa.
Costa, okay.
Kosta. Can you guys not see my character sheet? I can't see yours.
Exactly.
Right. Someone's got it locked down.
I can do it. I will change it so that everybody can see everybody's sheets. Save changes. Okay. Going through and doing that right now.
My second one is if you use or we're going to take turns.
No, you should do all of yours.
Okay. If you use the flow to comfort someone when they needed it the most, you have one Giri on them.
I'm not opposed to that. That sounds interesting.
Okay, we could do that.
Okay.
That works. So that's Tau. And wait, so where do we put the Giri? Is that under info? Yes.
There, on the first page, there's a Giri box.
Okay. And the last one, if you've taken solace or comfort in one another in a time of great need for both of you, you have one Giri on each other.
I think that works. No pictures of the person.
Well, I already have one on each of you, and I was thinking, what about the only other NPC we know actively right now is what the guy with the cybernetic arm hip.
Well, we have that. We have Nyan Yamada, the boss.
We have Block, Epoch, and Switch.
Yep, they're all characters established, or we can establish someone else.
You said the Pock and Switch?
No, if you look in the video hangout, I posted in some names.
Oh, got
Neon Yamada, whose name is Nero Taigen. Block, my barkeep. Epoch, my lover. And Switch, my healer.
Got it. I see it now. Sorry.
No, it's okay. They're all lots of boxes, lots of windows.
And
Or if you want to have somebody else that's like a role or something that we can establish that.
Yeah, I mean, I'd rather we can add other people, but I sort of like to keep it tight, and I think it might be interesting to have triangles. So the guy with the cyber arm was
that is Curzon.
Curzon. Okay. So anybody, Rich, are you against me doing that?
Not at all.
Okay.
And what happened there?
I knew you were going to ask that.
Sorry.
If you've taken solace or comfort in Curzon in one another, is what it's supposed to be. So what happened? I want to say that at the time that he got his arm chopped off was at the same time that I'd got the interface installed and was using it, and my first sort of addictive swing with it. And so I was also being, in the infirmary getting worked on, and it was a long, traumatic, painful thing. And so we were comforting each other through this because it was a real blow to his ego that he lost his arm, because he liked his arm. And like a lot of people, he really liked having an arm.
And you know that he wouldn't admit that how upset he is about that he's got this big overcompensating arm.
Yeah.
But he can still feel his real arm.
Yeah, exactly.
I just dropped in a sample pic of what I had in mind.
Yeah.
Don't chop off that guy's arm. I mean, that guy needs to have his arm chopped off.
Yep. Oh, I love that guy. Yep.
But he doesn't have enough. He needs to tattoo the cybernetic arm more to match the other one.
Yep.
Well, it's pretty new.
Yeah.
Oh, this is true. And he smokes a cigar. I like it.
Yep. Are you happy with those Giri questions?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Let's come back to Tao.
Okay. Giri questions. If someone keeps a secret regarding why you enforce Giri and has told no one, they have one Giri on you.
Can you say that one again?
If someone keeps a secret about why I am an honorbound, why I enforce Giri, which means the secret that my family was dishonored, driven to ruin, and still owed a great deal of money to someone, and then Neon Yamada paid it off. But you don't run around telling it, because it would be very embarrassing too.
Yeah, I don't think that's me, because I have a feeling like in an emotional surge, I could probably leak something like that at an inopportune moment.
Hmm.
Do you not see it
I think of her as being a newcomer, so I'm trying to think how she would have figured that out.
I could have told you during an intimate moment that we've had.
Or you could have been intimate with someone from his family.
Or all of the above.
Wow, it's like the whole family, they're all just running to tell.
They are good-looking people.
Well, it suggests if you want to take it, I mean, either I would say either intimate with Tao, or we've established that the aunt is perhaps the more emotionally mature of his family. So that might be a character to
you know what I like the idea of is that she actually mistook me for being intimate with Tao, because of course Tao kind of keeps you at an arm's reach, but she's so engaged and she always is like looking and very close up in people's space that I bet her aunt mistook me for Tao's partner one time and drew me aside to go, you have to understand that, there's a lot of pain in Tao. And I got the whole, reason why Tao is difficult story.
Okay. Rich, do you want to give her a name?
Yes, we should give the aunt a name. And
okay.
We'll jump over to the...
And if anyone needs the names of those name handouts that I've got in the Roll20 thing, if you click on them, we'll make them big so you can actually read them.
Okay. Boy, you weren't kidding about those shrinking back down. Okay.
Yeah. We'll go with Kumiko Uramaki. And I am going with the American style of first name, last name.
Okay.
Technically, Tao would be Uramaki Tao.
Okay.
Or just Uramaki-san, but that's fine.
And so Costa then has 1 Giri on you. Okay.
Hmm.
And I mark that on my sheet.
No, she has the Giri on you, so she would record it for her.
Don't worry, I've watched the handout.
I assume you could record it. You could both record it.
Yeah.
I have to find a little on me, on them way to describe that, mark that, abbreviate.
Got it. Cool. All right. You want me to move to the next one?
Yeah, let's do that.
If you've let someone off for reduce their penalty when they did not uphold their own Giri previously, I have 1 Giri on you.
You're muted.
Yeah, I know. Sorry, I saw that. I'll take that one.
I thought you'd jump at that one.
So then, given that we've got some stuff that Rich has established about what are the Giri there, what did you kind of do to get in trouble?
You want me to drop in what the Giri are for? I'll put that in the video hangout chat right now.
I thought, isn't it already there, or did you choose different ones?
Oh, it is there.
Oh, these are the ones you selected. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I incur Giri when you give someone a possession with no credit exchanged.
No,
That means
they get Giri.
Got it. Okay.
I had these exact same questions earlier, so
Wait.
that's why I know the answers right away.
Yeah, I was trying to fill out my character sheet while you were talking about
No,
it.
I get you. I'm thinking, like that's points of confusion.
It's a parallelism problem. So
See, what did I do though? I must have offended somebody's honor.
okay, who?
And so you're keeping it. So what it amounts to is you saw it but kept it secret and didn't enforce it, right?
Yeah, I've either let you off or I gave you a really cheap penalty for it. I think I know you want to do triangles, but I think it would be amusing if it were Epoch, Tao's lover. That, like, for some reason, I kind of let you off, and if Epoch finds out, they're going to be pissed.
Okay, I'll do that.
Why did you let him off? Were you pissed at Epoch, or was there something else going on?
No, I don't think that Tao's petty that way. I think there's just something about Lyric that Tao either likes or maybe Lyric just like talked his way around it. You know, just he's got that thing. He shifts the way he talks to somebody. He just reached out to Tao and smooth talker, right?
But it's certainly not something you're going to tell Epoch.
No.
About.
In fact, it's one of those like, oh man, I really shouldn't have done that. Somebody saw it though. There's no way I can go back now. I'll just do double next time.
Just do double.
Uh-oh. What does that mean? 2 fingers?
2 fingers.
Let's just say you only count to 8, sucker.
And your last question?
Last question is, if you train someone to fend for themselves when you're not around, you have 1 Giri on them.
Actually, would it be bad if I took that also? Because that one because I was trying to figure out how I know how to use the particle sword.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
And Epoch's jealous of you. Think about it. Like, Ebot could not.
Get to train in
You
that
guys
sweet
are sneaking
dojo that you've
around all
got.
the time. Yeah.
All right. Sherry, let's come to you
Okay.
for the last set of these.
All right. Here's one. If I've told someone the precise origin of my object, which I've not told others. So I asked that customs question. Like if you ask that. It seems being pretty new out in the world, and Tao would have seemed official. And she just sort of blurted it out.
Cool. And
So-
and you blurted out what, just so I make sure I understand what
That
Talon.
she essentially has an AI that she doesn't know where it came from.
Oh God.
Does that make any sense? Yeah. And
Yes, it's such a bad idea.
she thinks it's kind of like someone will want it back because it's really smart.
Is there some fear that it might be one of the nanokami?
I don't think that's occurred to her yet. Does that
Okay.
make any
All right.
sense?
Sure.
I think that is outside of her sense of things because this is her friend. I mean, like she'll protect Trapani to the ends because they're best pals.
Okay.
So, and then it's essentially, I've told you that we actually end up switching. We both have Giri on each other until you tell someone my secret.
Okay.
Does that make any sense?
Nice. That does both those first two questions. Nice.
Mhm. And then the other one is if someone has ever seen what happens to you when you're parted from my object, and protects that secret, they have a Giri on me.
And describe again what happens.
She gets, how do you say it, the official move is called irresolute, but essentially she has trouble making decisions. She gets disoriented. She definitely goes into this sort of like trying to fake it mode, really uncomfortable, really uncertain about what the next step ought to be. Not because she wouldn't otherwise know, but now it's just that this presence that's always with her isn't there anymore.
Awesome.
So it's like she's misplaced her mobile phone.
Exactly. It's disorienting. And all of her contacts are in there.
Okay. Let's take 5 here, take a quick break, and when we come back, we'll ask some world questions, and maybe we'll get some stuff set up and see where people are at, and I'll try and pull some strings. How does that sound? Is that cool with everybody?
Sure.
Okay. So take 5. doing the new math.
Did it help?
It did not help my calculations at all.
You know, they don't do new math anymore. They do Common Core.
When I was over in Egypt, one of the guys had been taught with the new math. So whenever there was like, when we played GURPS, and so whenever there was like a math thing, he would have to stop and go like this. We were all like, what are you, a mentat? And so that would be the big joke is, oh, he has to do the new math all the time. So
I think it's charming that you knew someone for whom it worked. So
yes. Okay. Stir this tea. So we got a couple of ways we can do this. We can stop and we could do some, we've got some basic stuff established about the world. We could stop and we could look at some of the other questions from the sort of world setting playbook, and we can do some of that if you'd like. Maybe establish some terrain and some things, or we can put you into a scene, and we can start playing some things out and focus on the character side of things. Anyone have a strong preference either way?
I feel like we've got quite a bit established about the characters. How much of the world do you think is necessary?
What would you? Are you?
I'm always ready to go. Like I have
go.
100% confidence in your makeup ability.
Okay.
Yeah, I think I could go with that also.
Okay.
Being the empath and channeling in and supporting and bouncing off of Rich.
No, you Sherry. Sherry is the star here. I'm so excited.
So one of the things to keep in mind, again, is that the veil is always with us. And just to make it concrete what that is that all of you have some kind of chip. It's like at birth kind of thing. And it is about your ability to see sort of and pick up what the augmented reality is around you, whether that's advertisements or facades or displays or anything like that, information that you can call up, those kinds of things. Everybody is in that. Only sort of the outsiders and outcasts of society, the untouchables, bottom, don't have that. And there's also a level of class to that, class structure, that you have sharper, more accurate, more responsive, more beautiful, more accessible, more access to the greatness of the veil if you're richer, if you were born wealthier, if you have that. And certain clans and things have access to certain ways that they can interact with the veil and then even to the reverse. So there's some of that. And certainly, of course, Orbital Mikado, who dwells at the top of the Great Space Elevator there, oversees all of this. He is the one with the blessings of the shogunate that lays out the plans for the city and lays out, what is to be shown or not shown to various people. So we zoom in, of course, neon, dark blues and so on as we come in to a neighborhood that is active, social network hubs here, clubs, that kind of thing. This is a ward that is about trade and commerce and that kind of visible networks of people. And so it is less run down than other places, but you've still got all that kind of pop-up business. You've got, remote roaming vending machines that are looking for people that want things. They're constantly scanning for people's needs, and they're rolling.
Do you have little feet and you just kind of walk around?
Yeah, there's small ones that do that, and bigger ones. There's probably drones that are constantly scanning for that kind of thing. You've got probably little tea shops that are like the beer carts where everybody's pumping on the bicycles. People are there, rolling around on those, using it as a transport, even as they're having their tea ceremony and so on there. And we will come in and we see the electric pagoda. And we've established that there's a dojo within it. So I'm imagining this is like a building, a place that's probably pretty big, like a block kind of thing. Rich, is that what you're imagining?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. And what does the sort of entrance facade look like?
Oh, I'm imagining that in the Vale, it's this block-size pagoda itself, right, with the huge roof and the tiered structure. But leading up to the entrance, probably a series of torii arches that are, fiery reds, and then there are a few cool neon blues as well, with different kanji along it that kind of move and shift and tell your story because it's individualized.
They probably kind of got like an electronic book of I Ching that casts the lots there that'll run that, almost like kind of a slot machine fortune as you walk through the colors of that. And imagine that all the time you are surrounded by that kind of bright, vibrant color. Only when you get to like a private room where you can kind of dampen that down can you get out of that. And the electric pagoda has enough pull here that they're able to block out any pop verts or beamed advertisements to your brain that would normally be coming in. So it cuts down on that noise here. And you've established that there's a club inside, a kind of a music place. It's a bar or a gathering place, large, beautifully sort of dimly lit, light coming up from below to kind of do that illumination there. Music playing all around.
Daft Punk all the time.
Just all Daft Punk all the time. Okay. There's some
and
animatronic robots up there doing wiki on the thing.
Yes.
They get little toy record players that they're doing the wiki with. So we're going to establish here that you are present. What is the last thing that Tao did before she came here?
The last thing that Tao did before they came here for work is they left Epoch's place a little bit early. I think Epoch lives in like an arcology.
Okay.
Left early, jumped onto their little crotch rocket, cool Akira style, get in and it folds around you motorcycle, because we do all the awesome things here. And
Epoch's got one of those suits, the sort of full leather suits that it's got the liquid inside, so that when you fall and impact, it hardens.
Oh, yes.
That's how those work. But it's skin tight otherwise.
It's very sexy. I like that. I had reactive cloth as my armor. I think we'll just go with that. That is that thing is their armor.
Awesome.
So what did they just do? So Tao left early, and I think Tao put a small wager on an upcoming sporting event that's going to be pretty big tonight. It's like a final match of future
underground or public sporting event.
It's a public sporting event, but the betting is underground. So we did it somewhere in the marketplace that's just outside the Neon Pagoda.
because the corporate betting parlors have the worst returns and take the most off the top.
Yep.
So what kind of event? What kind of sporting event is it? Is it baseball?
Is it baseball? No. I don't have to have baseball in every game. I mean, good, but what's something that Lyric marketed for? Because that's what got Tal turned on to this place.
That got Tao turned on to this place, or the place where he put the bets?
The sport, where Tal heard about this sporting event through Lyric, and has just decided to bet on it.
Oh, it's got to be a new cyber sport of some sort, doesn't it? It's going to have to be something new and trendy. How about what would be big in Japan or Neo Kyoto? How about something ridiculous like, I'm thinking it's like inverse fishing, as in you are the fish and you are trying to dodge the nets and the fishermen.
Oh, I love that. I love that. Inverse fishing.
That's great.
I imagine there's a big glass tank like with the suspended water force field, so it almost looks like Final Fantasy X, where they've got the blitz ball. So you've got the water and you've got these fishermen. Are the fishermen also people, or are they automated things?
They're fish. The fishermen are fish, and the people are in the water trying to get away from the nets.
Are they fish or are they uplifted fish?
Well, uplifted fish, of course, right? Or it has to be animatronic or whatnot. But yeah, that's the idea. So we're
animatronic uplifted fish, dolphins that are there, angry fucking dolphins.
Oh yeah,
they want to pay back. They've got the nets now.
Whales. Don't forget the whales.
All of that. The killer uplifted killer whales. It's a very dangerous sport. Okay. So.
So who are you betting on?
Is there a team or a particular competitor?
I bet on Team Orca. Okay,
Team Orca.
Odds are good. Odds are good.
They are.
I did bet against the humans. Sorry.
They're probably when you got your betting ticket, it has a little chibi orca on it, a little chibi orca mascot on the little betting slip there for you.
Orca.
So you've arrived at Epoch's there. Lyric, what has brought you to the Electric Pagoda tonight?
Tonight, we said there's a dojo in there, right?
Yes.
So I'd say that, well, a couple things. So Lyric, after work, likes, are we saying that, but you said Daft Punk, so the atmosphere in this place tends to be, if there's a live band, that would be a big draw for Lyric, because he would like the uplifted mood, because that would sort of feed him and make him feel positive after a day of work, and so that would be something that would draw him there. In addition, if nothing's happening, he would go into the dojo and work out.
And so are you, have you worked out and now you've come out and are enjoying yourself?
Yeah,
Okay.
I think that's probably it. It would be going to the gym and sort of get some of the energy out, and then, the dojo, work out with the sword or a sword, or wooden sword, or practice sword, and then come out and watch the show.
And I imagine that different parts of this room may actually move and reset depending on the time. And so there's all that and the different levels in here and lighting and so on. And so there is that moment for you, Tao, when Epoch goes kind of laughing, kind of excited, and he'll kind of stop, and you'll see him, and he's looking across, and you can see Lyric there coming out. Got that kind of little sheen of sweat, like he's just worked out, washed down, and he knows he looks good. And he's in the club, so he's doing that, and he's basking in that. And Epoch says, "What's that asshole doing here?"
What everyone else is doing here, Epoch. Trying to have a good time.
Surprised he can show his face after what you did to him.
Giri was restored.
You can see he's still kind of not, I mean, he's still kind of angry, but, he's trying to, assuage his male ego a little.
By saying Giri's restored, that's Tao shutting that shit down. Like, that is a shit down. Like, Giri's restored. You have no argument. I'm telling you, you can't talk about being mad because Giri's restored him. So you have to let that go. That's what Tao is saying there.
I'd say that's pretty serious for you. That's like key to your thing. So there's no need to even do a move for that.
Okay.
He will shut down on that because he's still in a pretty good mood. Okay.
Awesome.
Let me come to Costa. You've had a problem. You've come, in fact, here tonight to the Electric Pagoda because of that problem. And what is that problem? What has occurred?
Let's see here. I think that what it is that wow. Let's see here. Oh, my credits are about 0, and I need to get some more minutes in the can. I essentially have to produce some more stuff and hope that I get enough money to essentially keep on renting my studio apartment, which is a studio and apartment. And so she's here to essentially use the highly discounted club music, because if you use what's currently streaming, they lower that, and to essentially use that as the backdrop for a series of engagements with and hoping that music and that setting will catch enough eyes. Ooh, and maybe to watch the sporting event.
They're probably going to be
she'll have to get herself invited to it. Yeah. See if she can get herself invited to it.
Okay.
Okay.
So when you come in, who are you targeting? Are you looking for Yamada? If you probably see Lyric, you see Tao. Or is there someone else you would hunt for?
Well, essentially, when you're doing these sorts of things, what you want to do is build up a sense of that the person who's along with the ride with you is part of a circle of friends. So you want to pick someone who's going to be receptive to you being there, and also have things like essentially be engaging as well. So it's more this. Do Tao and Epoch look like they want company, or should I veer over to see if Lyric is interested in hanging out with us, because that's what they're doing, is to be hanging out with us, not with Costa.
Tao, what do you think the read is from you?
For some reason my brain thought that you said Lyric. So sorry. Sorry for the long pause. I was not trying to be dramatic.
I thought it was thoughtful.
No, it wasn't. I probably should have just went with it and seemed smarter. So yeah. Sure, Tao is. They're interested in that. That sounds interesting and amusing. Sure.
All right. So she'd sort of come up. She'd see that last little bit of the conversation where you're kind of cutting him off. And so when she sort of brought herself up, she'd go right up to Epoch and say, hey, how are you doing? Just to sort of bring his mood up. And kind of, she's sort of right up in your face, and she's like, what are you doing tonight? What are we going to do? And she's all very excited about it. Like she's pushed herself right in between, not between you, but right in with you two.
And Epoch is you know, this is a lovely a lovely woman, but a friend of yours, you know. So he's always glad to have new people around, and she does that weird sort of virtual, you know, recording stuff, and he's fascinated by that. You know, not that he uses porn, at least that he tells you, but you know.
Epoch does not clear his browser history.
Oh, really? Then what does he watch?
You got a lot of competition. A lot of competition.
Ooh, I'll have to raise my game.
Is this actually being said? Because that would be I can picture Epoch kind of, you know, looking down in.
That is now canon.
Yes. All right. Yep.
He looks down. He tries to not go red. You'll see he's got those subdermal nano tattoos. He kind of moves them up to his face to hide the blush there and conceal it. He kind of makes it tribal for a bit to try and hide that. Lyric, you're moving around. This is a solid a place to gather your emotional energy. Are there any moves that trigger based on this that I should be aware of, or is this just kind of a thing that's occurring here?
Actually, I guess it's the absorb move. I'm actually trying to get flow out of it. So I would think that what would draw, since Lyric is trying to have a good time, he would pick up on anybody with negative emotions. And I guess that, you know, if he's sensing emotions in the room, which I guess he's supposed to see automatically pretty much, he should be able to home in on somebody that's in a negative mood and might be tending towards violence. And he would go there and try and siphon off that mood or that emotion so that the person is not, if I'm assuming it works that way, so that the person will be more inclined to become happier instead of more angry and violent.
Okay. So let's say that you know, you've seen Tao come in, sit down, you know, with Epoch, and then Costa comes in, and noise is going on. You can clearly see they're starting to get a couple of the screens off in one area set up for the inverse fishing, but they don't want to make it sports bar, so they kind of got moving the room so that's a little more isolated, so people don't have to listen to that. And you see two people come in, a man and a woman. They look very similar, like they must be brother and sister. They're dressed kind of formally, like they both got these kind of weird ponchos on, like almost like space poncho kind of thing. But it can fit in, you know, you have that kind of thing for rain. And when they come in and they kind of get within your range, you will definitely get murderous intent off of them, like a strong vibe of that. The other thing you will get is that you actually read 4 intelligences there.
And does that mean that it could be AIs? Do AIs have emotions?
No, you don't pick up AI emotions, I don't think, unless you do. You think you do?
Well, part of the reason I was taking an interface was I was just thinking that maybe I would be able to, depending on how much people mesh into it, they might pull. Yeah. I might pull up in emotions or project them.
So let's say sophisticated AIs that have that kind of projection, you can sense, but they feel different. How do they feel as opposed to human emotional thought?
I want to say that their emotions are probably sharper.
Okay.
As in they feel cleaner or sharper than human emotions.
Less that kind of mixed and muddiness that you have to kind of translate out.
So, right. If you zoom into an AI emotion, it's still clear. If you zoom into a human emotion, it pixelates.
Yeah, fractals. Okay. All right. Oh, I love that image. That's great. Not AI.
Okay.
And you see them look, and you follow their gaze, and you see them kind of look and search the room, and they start moving over towards where Tau and Costa and Epoch are.
Okay. Do we know how close do I have to get to trying to absorb something?
You tell me.
Yeah, I know. I'm looking at this. I'm not seeing anything that indicates it. I would say I have to get near, but not necessarily touch. It says, well, draw on the emotions around you.
All right.
Name someone present. If it's a PC, choose an emotion and absorb all their spikes. If it's an NPC, the MC will tell you what you can absorb from them when you roll.
Okay. So let's go. Let's have you roll. Now, when it says roll there, you notice it doesn't list a thing to roll with. You get to choose what emotion is appropriate for this, what state works with it. So what do you think the state is that you're in? You felt this murderous intent. You've seen people that you know. They're moving over towards it. When you move over to try and absorb that, what's the state?
So is it my state that I'm in? Okay, then it'll be, I want to say it'll be joyful, because I'm thinking that I'm liking the excitement and the mood here that I'm picking up in the place, and that's why I want to sort of neutralize what they're doing, because it's going to be a real downer.
Okay, that seems reasonable.
Do I click on the...
So you can, on your character sheet, you can click on the joyful button. Should be a button there. And that should give us a result there. And that looks like an 8 to me, because your joyful is a 2, right?
Yes.
Okay. And you'll put a little mark in the box under joyful.
Okay. And so that's an 8. I get to choose 2. I get +1 flow. They aren't aware what you are doing. You don't spike out that emotion yourself. You completely clear out or fill up all their emotion spikes.
Ooh. So what are the 2 you want to do there? And this will be a 1 of the 2.
Oh, one of the 2 of them? I'll take the +1 flow, and I will completely clear out or fill up all their emotion spikes. So I'm going to clear out their emotion spikes, because that will make them unangry, right?
Yeah. So here is what will happen with the 1. Is it who's closer to you, the male or the female?
I'm going to say the male.
Okay. So the male is closer to you, and you'll see him stop, and you're still sensing those 4, and you can see that his sort of murderous intent has quelled, but the other intelligence that's there has not. And you actually see him kind of this and kind of spin towards you, like almost like a puppet, as he turns towards you. And you'll see his shirt start to ripple. Tau, I would say of the 2 of you, and of the 3 people at the table, you are the one who is most aware of dangerous situations.
That seems fair.
You will see this still a ways away. Somebody moves oddly, like they do this jerk like they shouldn't, and that catches your eye, and then you get that feeling of something. And there's a woman who is with that strange moving guy approaching, but you'll also see Lyric. Something is happening here. You're not sure what. What do you want to do?
Snap my fingers and reach my hand towards block. Like, hand me my sword. This is the hand gesture for hand me my sword.
All right. That seems like a thing we don't have to roll for, right? You've established them as your compatriots. How busy is it?
Okay, so yeah, I'm snapping the hands out there for a minute, and then I'm like, oh, damn it. And I shove a couple people over, and I reach around underneath the bar and grab the sword myself.
Okay. So let me ask you, Costa, when you see, I mean, and it's a smooth blur as Tau gets, that step up to the bar and then does that reach. What do you do, Costa?
I am strictly a non-combatant, so I do this. and I essentially try to discern where the threat is and put Tao between me and it. And my whole thing is just because I'm sure that Trapani will follow with me.
Okay.
So it's to get us safe.
Well, let's actually have you do since we want to contact the moves. That kind of sounds like analyze to me.
Okay.
That's assessing the situation. So why don't you make that roll for me?
Okay, I guess I'm rolling on scared because all of a sudden things have changed. I was in my demens and I am no longer.
Okay.
Does that seem reasonable?
That seems reasonable to me. And so that's an 8. And of course so you get then 2 questions and you get a +1 forward. I don't have the PDF to grab. Oh yeah, you've got the basic moves thing I printed out for you.
Okay, so let's see here. Which enemy is the biggest threat? Essentially, what is
right now? That woman. There's something about her that reads danger to you.
Okay. Let's see here. What, if anything, appears out of place?
What appears out of place? She is not moving naturally, but you're not seeing any cyber on her. Okay. There's something you suspect she's got some other kind of upgrade or some other kind of thing going on but it's not cyber. Does that seem like a reasonable answer?
That seems like a reasonable answer. I will work with that.
Okay. Let's swing back.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, yeah, go on. No, go on.
I will attempt to essentially merge with Jiv. This is when essentially we go to the situation where we are completely synced up. He's talking to me and I'm talking to him, and we are working together.
Okay, make okay. What do you want to roll on? Scared again?
Yeah, makes sense.
Okay, mark a second box of scared and make that roll.
Oh, geez, I forgot about that. I don't want to spike on scared, but oh well.
5 boxes. You got plenty of room. No worries.
All right.
It's all gonna be fine. All right. No complications. What does that look like? What do people see when that happens?
What they actually see, it probably isn't that much, except that you see sort of a blue light go across her, or like one of those distortions where essentially he's tracing and putting all the pin dots to essentially catch essentially to mocap is what it kind of looks like, except that there's actually a sort of slight force field there, if that makes any sense. But it's more that's how they stay in contact at this point. Once they're in there, he can push her and she can push him. Okay. Does that make any sense?
Perfect.
Because it's that Irma thing.
Yeah, I like that. And you get up, get that shift there. Noise is going around. Nothing has exploded, but there's that feeling like something's about to go, even as you're hearing, well, we're getting ready for the fishing tournament. And then we're going to cut to Lyric. This guy is stumbling towards you. What do you want to do?
Question is, what can I do? He's stumbling towards me.
So you're not in imminent danger right this second. So but he does look like a threat is coming your way.
Yeah, definitely. Let's see.
You're a little quiet.
Sorry. There we go.
That's okay.
So let's see. I'm trying to think what can I do. If I can expel the flow, choose one, spike out the emotion of your choosing, and all those present. Oh no, don't want to do that. That's not a good move. So I'm sensing murder. I had sensed murderous intent from this guy before, and so he's lunging at me.
He seems sort of dazed, whereas the other intelligence that's there definitely still has murder on its mind.
Right. There we go. So what are the things we can do? neutralize is what you do when you do force. When
Yes,
you use
you
force
can
against them. Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't think that's probably what he would do at this point right now.
Okay.
I think it's probably going to be when he's going to try and avoid the danger by either like distracting them somehow or disappearing into the crowd and going around them.
Okay. Do you want to? So you want to try and divert them?
If that's what it would be, to distract, misdirect, or otherwise direct attention. Yeah, I'd probably be trying to draw him away from the others.
It seems like we're going to have a roll just because this thing is kind of focused on you. You didn't hide your emotional thing last time. So what do you want to roll with? Are you still joyful?
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
I'm thinking I'll be mad because I absorbed some. So I'm determined to like take this one a little bit away from the other one and then take him out.
Okay, let's have you roll. Oh, look at that. You can create an opportunity for yourself or someone else. You can glean a flaw or weakness. You can confuse them, or you're able to slip away. You get 3 of those. So the better question is, which one don't you want?
Well, I certainly want to glean something about them.
Okay.
I would do want to, what was the other option? Confuse them?
Confuse, slip away, create an opportunity.
No, then I'll take open and make an opportunity, or take an opportunity, and I guess. So I said glean an option, make an opportunity, or take an opportunity, and
slip away.
Slip away, sure.
Okay. So you will duck and kind of weave into the crowd, and this guy kind of turns, and you will see sort of the first spikes of like tentacles pop from his chest. Okay. And you realize that he's a genoculture biosoldier. And there's kind of a screeching sound that comes because the mind that's connected with it has kind of been disrupted by your emotion thing. And as a result, when that happens, the other one that was going over to get towards Costa is distracted as it hears that screech. Tau. You will see that this woman's starting to shift, that there's some kind of enhancement here. You'll hear that screech over there, probably see the tentacles, and see this woman turn in response. What do you want to do?
No one has been hurt yet.
Not yet. Nope.
Okay. With a katana in left hand, start walking forward calmly, directly towards the person that's transforming, and there's like a camera kind of pans in on the hand holding, and then there's just a pop, and the katana is now free from. You can see this little sliver of the metal is shining in the neon, and Tile calls out, "I need to ask you to leave."
So cool.
All right. So I think I'm going to have you. I think you're presenting an ultimatum here, right? You're presenting.
I think that I am.
The suggestion of violence, because this woman turns, and you will probably see the tearing, and you will also realize, okay, this is a serious bio soldier here. So let's have you roll with whatever you think is the proper force here, the proper state for you giving the ultimatum.
Right. I think I'm trying to project being powerful here.
Okay.
If that seems fair.
That seems powerful. Fair? Absolutely.
Okay. I think I click this button. Okay. I did an 8. And I did an ultimatum. 3, 3, and 2. Okay.
Okay. They have to choose. Make you carry out your threat.
You have to choose.
Yeah.
You have to do work. Ha 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 ha. I've chosen my move wisely.
Yeah. They also have these options. They are going to take you up on this. And so you are going to deal your harm to this person, but they are also going to hit you.
Okay.
That seems to be they're going to attempt to remove you as a threat. So what's the harm that you deal?
I do 2 harm, hand, which means I need to move right up on them, and
Not
it's
a
AP.
problem.
So
Okay.
it's 2 harm. They eat.
So that is wicked, okay? Because what you will see is the genoculture bursts out, and it is like a colony of spiky tentacles and worms that bursts out. So it's a separate thing embedded in these genosoldiers, a symbiotic bioweapon, and you will come across and chop through a chunk of that, okay? And you can tell that it's normally pretty chitinous and tough to cut, but you slice through it armor piercing, and it will cry out. But one of these tentacles, these like sets of them, wraps up and then just backhands you and sends you flying over the bar down. There's that crash as you hit one of the walls of liquor and mirroring, and you come down. You aren't hurt because you know how to take a fall, but right now you've been thrown away, and the path has been cleared between it and Costa.
Oh no. Now it's in trouble.
Costa, you will now realize this thing as it kind of swivels, the arm sends Tau flying. It's looking for you.
Okay, let's see here. I'm going to attempt to hinder it getting towards me. So essentially,
how would you do that?
Well, you know what? I have a bunch of alcohol around me. I have so I'm going to scoop up my drink and Tau's because I don't.
Okay.
And I'm going to throw them at that wounded, bloody genotype because I'm thinking alcohol is not going to be its favorite thing to get a face full of where it's all wounded and cut up.
Okay, let's have you roll. This sounds like you're trying to neutralize the threat here.
Oh, is that it? I thought it was hinder, but I will go with neutralize if it must be. Okay. Wait a minute. I probably do it and go, wait, what did I just do?
Yeah. You are a non-combatant, so you are challenging your belief there.
I didn't mean to. Okay, so let's see here. Should I hit scared again? It is pretty much scared. So here we go. I have no idea what.
Okay. You're going to take a harm, but
okay.
You can choose 2 of these options. You can actually inflict harm, force a change of location, suffer little harm, dismay them, or you can spend both your harm to take away an advantage. Both your picks.
I think that what it is I'm going to take away that advantage. I'm going to have it that essentially what happens in the thing is that I throw the drinks and I do it kind of crappily, but essentially Jig sort of follows through and with the sort of nano cloud forces that alcohol there into the genotype, and it actually has to retract. So the biosoldier doesn't have that geno stuff.
So it will pull back, and you kind of force it back, and so it's forced back closer to Tau. So the distance that it gained from Tau, that's been removed. Okay, does that seem reasonable?
Yes, I want it far away.
Yes, pushed back. It's kind of the alcohol and flames, and of course, then there's directed fire suppression systems that are spraying down immediately. They're targeted. And now there's panic in the disco. Okay, it is. Lyric, what are you doing?
So there's
still
now
for you, but is kind of confused.
And so now there's panic starting?
Yeah.
Oh, no.
When the flames went up.
Yeah, that's not what I wanted. Oh, no. This isn't good. This could be bad. They're ruining my party. So I can draw on the emotions around me. Doesn't say. I'm trying to think if I can do more than one. Can I absorb from a crowd? I don't think I can.
Let me look at
I have to name a person or PC around me. So I don't think I can, unfortunately. But what I can do, what am I thinking? I can sling emotions, so I can sling calm or peace.
Mm-hmm. Do you want to try and do that?
Yes, I do. So I want to try and calm down. And I want to calm down. Well, let's see how I roll. But yeah,
right.
I'm hoping to exclude some people ultimately.
So you have flow of 1 right now.
Yes. So I'm going to be spending that. And I guess I roll with peaceful then?
No, it actually roll with flow for sling.
Oh, so is that just do I just hit the other button if I want?
Yeah, I think it's just a 1. So.
Oh, it'll be +1. Okay. Well, then I can I'll roll any of the ones that have 1. Then that'll just be the same. Okay.
All right. So you get to pick one of those options.
It's a 7. Okay. One of those options. Back to the playbook. I'm going to do. So it happens the way I wanted, or I spike out an emotion of your choosing and all those present. Okay, I'm going to spike out peaceful and all those present. Okay.
So.
I hope that's a good thing. I don't know what spiking out an emotion means.
What it will do is when you do that, essentially everyone present is now operating at spiked out peaceful, which means that they're at +2 if they roll peaceful, -1 if they roll anything else.
Oh.
Until that's cleared.
Okay.
For the purposes of this moment, we're actually going to say that we're going to exclude the other PCs from that for this one, just for drama's sake. But that bio soldier that was searching for you is it's actually now staggering back and away. It doesn't know how to handle this, and it's trying to move back towards the entrance. Tau, that thing is close at hand, and you can see the panic started and then stopped.
Nice.
You're not sure how that happened.
I'm not, but I'm not going to waste the opportunity. Yeah, I think the bioweapon, I don't need to ask boss. I think I can take this thing out. So I think that's the thing I'd like to try to do.
I'm going to say that this is not even a difficult task for you. You just need to describe to me what it looks like.
Oh God, I can't resist this. So, Tal springs up from the liquor and the like, slings a hand, and then alcohol sprays off, and then there's the people are starting to panic, so they've of course cleared a bit of a path around this odd monster, and so Tao starts running forward and places the katana across the ground and draws it along, and so of course there's like neon sparks that kick up, and then right as Tao comes up to it, it's one of the uphand swipes to try to go from across the thigh up the gut and then across the shoulder, and then if that doesn't work, then pivot and turn, and
it'll be that up, and it'll start to split and tip, and then you'll do that second cut and it will drop. Have you ever seen one of these things close up before, Tao?
Only in hand like recreations, not up live. No.
Yeah, you've never seen this, and now that you can kind of see inside, you can see that this thing has replaced the internal organs of this soldier. I mean, and it's this kind of writhing colony of tentacle worms that when the body dies, this thing will also kind of shrivel up and die. And Costa, you're kind of breathing as you see that. Lyric, you keep people calm. That other one books out the door. Let's say for the purposes of this. But Tao, you will see that sort of in the sort of the hollow, it's got like a hollow glove and a projection, and you can see that it has a little projection and it has an image of Costa. Clearly, that's who they were here for. And that seems like a good place for us to stop.
Dun dun dun.
And we will take up with that next week. I hope that's okay.
Yes.
Great.
Awesome.
It won't be all action, but I wanted to start out with a little action.
But I want to hear
letting me say stuff.
Epic's reaction to this. What did Epic think about this?
He's calm. He's peaceful. You know, he started to panic, and then he sat back down. It's all good. He's spiked down on peaceful right now. It will take him a bit to come out of that haze.
Nice.
Crazy.
Nice. All right. Well, thank you guys very much. Getting started. We'll play a little this story out next time. I've got some ideas, and I've got a week to work on things. And we'll play next week.
Sounds
Okay.
good.
Okay. Sounds good. Let me stop this.